My name's Sally Shaw. I'm Head of Programme at Modern Art Oxford. Thank you for coming. So I'm just going to very quickly introduce you to both Brian and Eva. Born in London 1948, English sculptor, poet, novelist, filmmaker and performance artist. Educated at the North East London Polytechnic and Royal College of Art, Professor of Fine Art at the Ruskin School of Drawing and Fine Art here in Oxford, and a Fellow of Linacre College. You've been exhibiting internationally since 1970. Your most notable works and performances include Quill 2 at Matt's Gallery in 2011, a commissioned memorial to the site of execution at the Tower of London in 2007, Vanished, a video séance made with screenwriter Tony Grisoni in 1999. You co-founded the international performance collective The Wolves in Winter, who were here a couple of months ago causing havoc in our Piper Gallery. I had to sweep up, thank you Brian. Eva Kotátková, born in 1982 in Prague in the Czech Republic. From 2002 to 2008 you studied at the Academy of Fine Arts and the Academy of Applied Arts in Prague, at the San Francisco Art Institute and the Academy de Bildende Kunst in Vienna. Since 2009 you've been completing your PhD at the Academy of Applied Arts in Prague. In 2007 you won the J. Chalapecki Award for Young Artists. You were included in the 18th Biennial of Sydney in 2012, the Venice Biennial in 2013, and now you're here, Modern Art Oxford, first UK solo show. Your practice ranges from works on paper to social interventions, performances and sculptures. In these different media you reflect on social rules, expectations and propaganda strategies which impose restrictive structures on the individual. So my first little question to get the ball rolling is about something, Eva, that you've mentioned a couple of times when we've been talking about your work and your practice. And I've been trying to kind of pin you down to a little bit of a moment when I can sort of understand that a lot of your thought processes come from. And you've mentioned a couple of times that when you were a child in Prague in 1989, of course, famous moment, that there was a moment when all the textbooks changed, and it seems to be this kind of galvanizing moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Even so, it's quite a tricky question for the start.
Tricky, I'm sorry.
But I'm sorry, I speak even more quiet. So, but I will do my best. And just before we start, I just want to thank very much, Brian. It's really a big privilege to be here with you today, and thank you for your time. So I just hope I will not be more embarrassed than necessary. But to your question, yeah, I mean, because I refer, and also in the past I did some projects which were dealing very much with school environments, with methods how an individual is educated and very often also manipulated within or inside of certain social structures. So very often I was going back to my own, not in some biographical way, I hope, no, sure. But definitely not, but going back to my school years. And as you mentioned, I started to go to school in 1989, which was this revolutionary, very emotional year, which of course in that time and now I will speak very naively, just trying to remember what was my perception as a small child, because I was 7 years old. So it was rather, of course, big excitement, which I couldn't understand at all. I just understand now that it had much more layers that I could perceive in that moment. And you mentioned that one of the strongest memories was that apart from, of course, the excitements of my parents and all the emotional things happening around, there was this moment when they brought the educational books to school, and then the content in mainly the history books and books of literature was very much changed. Suddenly the books grown, the content was much richer, and I suddenly realized that what we started to learn at the beginning of the year was actually very reduced, very manipulated version of how the reality actually functioned behind the walls.